Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy, the Strongest Wizard, and I'm so glad to say this, but it's OP06 season, and you know what that means? We got a brand new deck profile for y'all, and that's actually going to be Perona. Perona's the first one on the list. I have the most practice with this deck, and green is back. What else can I say? So yeah, I'm excited. Let's dive in. Alright, so getting into this deck list now, I obviously want to talk about this leader. Perona is a brand new 4-life, 5k power, green and black leader, and she has 1 to 2 abilities. Well, she technically has 2 abilities. Main, activate one of the following. You get to rest a 4-cost or lower character, or you -1 cost on a opponent's character. This is actually super helpful and very useful because you're actually able to rest the majority of the blockers in this current meta. Cards like Borsalino, Rebecca, 3-cost Dofi, I mean, the list goes on. And on the fact that you don't even have to rest a blocker, it can be just any 4-cost character. And also, a lot of the removal in this deck is required to be like 4 cost. So if you have a 5 cost, if they have a 5-cost character, Perona's ability just knocks it down by 1, puts you in range, and with the combination of the other cards and characters, it's actually really helpful. So getting into this deck right now, we're going to start off with the 1 cost, of course. Our first character here is we have 4 copies of Baby 5. Baby 5 is a fantastic searcher. She's a 1 cost, 1000 power, 1k counter. May activate main, tap 1, as well as tapping her to search top 5 for a Don Quixote Pirates card. Essentially, she's the Don Quixote Pirates version of Bonnie. Very good card. Searches herself. Can't really say much more. Next character we have is Suru. Suru is a 1k power, 0,000 power. She has 0 power, 1 cost, 2000 power counter, and on play you get to -2 cost for a character. If you've ever played against Sakazuki or played Sakazuki, you know what this card does. Really good. Also helps you get her, if you play her and you're playing against a 6 cost characters on the board, you play here, drop her down to 4, Perona ability, rest to 4 costs. Things like that are really nice and tricky that you can do. But we also have our second searcher, which is actually brand new. Brand new searches the majority of the deck. Fantastic card, Sakazuki card. Really good. Search top 3 for a navy character, trash the rest, and filling your trash is actually quite important as well. Not as important as it is for like a deck like Sakazuki or something like that, but it still is very important. Next character we have here in this lineup is we have 4 copies of my man Rosinante. Rosinante is a fantastic 2 cost, 1000 power, 1k counter character. He's navy as well as Don Quixote, so he's searchable through both brand new and Baby 5. He's a blocker on your opponent's turn when you have a rested character and it's being KO'd or removed somehow. It's being KO'd, I should say. It doesn't prevent bottom decking, but instead of a character being KO'd that's rested, you're actually able to KO this character instead. And there's a lot of really cool, nice things that you can do against, for example, like Sakazuki, where if they play a Rob Lucci and they try to KO 2 characters at one time, and one of the targets is Rosinante, or let's say it isn't, well, this ability will actually eat up both of the KO abilities from Rob Lucci. So instead of them getting a 1/4/2, they're only getting a 1/1, and they get the lower cost character, which is of course Rosinante. This card is actually really good, really helpful. Another situation would be like 9-cost Kaido. 9-cost Kaido on play, -5 Don, KO a character 6 costs or less. Well, this can prevent that from happening, and it could just eat up that ability. Really good. Next card is we have a brand new character here, and I believe his name's, I think I'm pronouncing it right, Ryu. I'm gonna say Ryu. It's a 4 cost, 6000 power Landa Wano character, as well as I believe Thriller Bark. It has 0 counter, which kind of sucks. But the on play and on KO ability is you KO a character on the board that's rested, that's 4 cost or less. So essentially, it's an X Drake. It is not searchable with any of our cards, which is kind of big sad. But the fact that it's on play and on KO is really, really good. If they try to swing into it with a 4 cost character, you're actually able to trade into it, which is pretty awesome. It's like Man-Eater Bug, if you ever played Yu-Gi-Oh! Anything that like kills each other, I always call it Man-Eater Bug. Anyways, we have 4 copies of 4 cost Guzan, 5,000 power. Character, it's a Navy card. You know what this card does. Searchable through brand new. On play, draw a card, so technically it's a 0. When attacking, select one of your opponent's characters, give it -4 cost. This character is really, really good. It has a lot of synergy with, of course, this character, as we just mentioned, as well as the leader. If I swing into lead and I -4 costs on, let's say I don't know, let's just say a 8 cost Katakuri, well, that Katakuri is now 4 costs. I can use leader ability here to rest it and then play this card to actually KO it. Really, really good synergy in general. Fantastic card. Next character we have is 4 copies of Borsalino. Now, Borsalino, another Sokka card. Another really popular black card, 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter, searchable through brand new. Since it is a Navy card, on your opponent's turn, gains 1,000 power, as well as it cannot be KO'd by effects, and it's a blocker. What else could you ask for? Next character we have here is 4 copies of X Drake. Like we did mention before, X Drake is a 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter character. On play, you're actually able to KO a 4 cost or lower character. Now, the best part of X Drake is that he is a Navy character, so he's a searchable removal target for brand new, and that's really, really good. Sometimes you're in a pinch and you need some removal. Well, brand new can get you there sometimes by finding X Drake. Really, really important. Next character we have Virgo. Now, I'm a little indifferent about Virgo. I think Virgo is fantastic because it is a Navy as well as a Don Quixote Pirates character, searchable through Baby 5 as well as brand new. It's 5 cost, 5,000 power, 2k counter, and when with 1 Dawn attached to it, it cannot be KO'd by battle. Now, the best part about Virgo is the fact that it's a 2k counter. I know a lot of people do say there is a lot of utility in the fact that he cannot be KO'd by battle. And I would like to say that's true, but oftentimes I feel like I'd rather have him in hand to counter out of it. So no matter what, being a double searchable character that is a 2k counter is fantastic. Next character we have here is we have 4 copies of Sabo. Sabo is a fantastic character. Unfortunately, he's not searchable through anything, but the fact that he cycles your hand as well as trashes a couple of cards is really, really important. He's a 1k counter, gives you protection. The reason why we're running a 4 of is because I think it's also really helpful in the yellow matchup. Yellow just has like a ton of more removal, I feel like, in the game right now, and I think this really helps us out, as well as of course Sakazuki's will always be an issue. So this character is fantastic. I think it's you could probably cut this down to 2 if you really wanted to, but I think 4 is actually correct. Next character we have here is we have Gecko Moria, a brand new character in this set, and it's 8 cost, 9,000 power. He's a Thriller Bark character as well as a 7 Warlords. No counter on this character, but his on-play ability surely makes up for it. On play, you get a 4 cost or lower character as well as a 2 cost or lower character in your trash, and you play them. The on-play abilities activate, and you get to decide one of them has to be active and one of them has to be rested. And this combination, guys, is absolutely insane. There's so many different variations of combinations of plays you can do with this card. For example, if you want to take it nice and easy, you play Borsalino, play it active, you play brand new from your trash. Of course, because they all are from trash. You play brand new, on playability, you grab yourself a card. It could be a 2k, it could be removal for the following turn. Really, really good card. Also, you have cards like combinations like, let's say if you wanted to go Tsuru, you get Tsuru, you play it as rested, then you target a character, obviously. Let's say it's a 6 cost character. They now become 4 cost. And then you use the second ability here to grab a 4 cost or lower. Well, you grab Ryo, and this character on play pops a 4-cost or lower. So you could pop a 7-cost character with a combination of leader minus, Suru minus, plus character. Really, really good here. It's really, really good. So yeah, this card's really, really nice. If you wanted to set up for the following turn, you can play Kuzan, draw a card, as well as brand new, and you literally plus a card off of that transaction, which is really good. Next character we have here is we have 4 copies of Don Quixote do Flamingo, 10 cost, 10,000 power. You on play select 3 rested characters or leaders, and they're unable to set as active the following turn. They can play cards like I Am Invincible, things like that, to make them active, or like or Film Kid or something like that sets them as active, but during their unrest phase they do not unrest. This card I think can be sometimes mid in other decks, but in this deck I think it's really, really crucial because there's so much utility, and it's so fluid in this deck because of all of the removal and all the little perks you get for your opponent's characters being rested. So really fantastic card. You can't go lower than 4, honestly. I don't think so. But yeah. And to round things off, we have 2 copies of the 0 cost event card here. I will say the name because it's very long and it's kind of fun. Because the side of justice will be whichever side wins. It's a 0 cost event card, same as Gatling, same as a lot of the other cards. You trash 1 card, you give a character or leader plus 3,000 power for the battle, and the trigger is you rest a 4-cost or lower character. So yeah. Now I do think, I know what you guys are probably thinking, well, this is kind of like a basic list, pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and I think that's the kind of the way you need to play this deck. This deck is not aggressive, it's not a high rolly deck. This deck is very consistent. You see your pieces the majority of the time, you're never really missing anything. Sometimes you might not see him, but you will see X-Rig. Sometimes you won't see a Gecko because he's not searchable, but there's plenty of different cards that you can see in combination that will help you win. You do not need, I do not think you need Gecko to win. There are a ton of cards that will help you win any matchup, I think. So yeah, I do think there are also a couple cards that you can tech in. If you wanted to cut 2 copies of Kuzan, you totally can, and play 2 of something else. Maybe you want more 2k counter because this deck does kind of lack a bit of 2ks, since you are currently only running 8 2ks, and you wanted to run more, you want to run possibly 10. Well, you can cut 2 Kuzans for it, but I think this card is very needed for the yellow matchup. So I do have a special announcement before I let you guys go. If you guys are familiar with one of the best players in the world, Jackson Huang, he's fantastic. He has a Patreon. Please go ahead and check that out. Mainly because the fact that I'm also subscribed and I learn a lot from his Patreon, but for the fact that I am now part of the team for his Patreon. So I will now be doing content for his Patreon, which is super awesome. And one big thing is I'm gonna share the rest of my OP06 deck list on there. So this is currently the first deck list that I have. I'm gonna probably be doing a little write-up for his Patreon. So I'm just very excited to give some sort of content out in that space as well. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully it should be announced by the time I am posting this video. But yeah, thank you guys so much for checking out this channel as well as this video. I really do appreciate it, and stay tuned because I have a ton of new OP06 content coming out soon. See ya.